And as the telecom industry shifts toward OpenRan and AI-driven RAN architectures, operators, vendors, and policymakers must navigate key challenges in software integration, also location constraints, and functional interoperability, as well as deployment complexities. This panel will speak with leaders from Vodafone, AMD, and Rakuten Symphony on what's required to achieve a truly open, intelligent, and efficient RAN ecosystem. And gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Welcome.
Thanks for being here, Mohammed. You and I haven't done this before, so...
Yeah, this is our first time.
Yeah.
I hope not the last.
No, of course not. Gilles, good to have you, as always.
Thank you. Thank
and
you very much.
Muslim, as always, from Vodafone. Thanks for being with us.
Always a pleasure.
Very well. So I want to start with you, Muslim, if you don't mind. AI is certainly reshaping OpenRan networks. Kind of walk us through how that's allowing for them to be managed and also optimized as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So OpenRan is a technology which is requiring interoperation between, let's say, different operator sharing infrastructure. It's also requiring a lot of precision-based computation. It has scarce resources that it manages. So AI is actually here the main enabler of all that. So AI enables you to be granular, to do efficient resource management, to do, let's say, industrial automation that allows you to really drive this at scale. And that's why AI comes in as the technical enabler, which is also covering other aspects like, for example, security, which are critical because OpenRan faced challenges in the beginning because of trust, multi-operators, security aspects. And the AI really enables, let's say, these things to come together in a way that can really scale and deliver on those results. Yeah.
Gilles, certainly a lot of AI use, well, not a lot, I shouldn't say, but some AI use cases when it comes to OpenRan. Can you again maybe walk us through a couple of those?
Yeah, so piggybacking on what Muslim just said is, I see that for the time being, AI RAN is really focusing on network orchestration. So the next wave, and having a network more efficient, the next wave will probably be around the RIC, where AI will really be able to use all the data that the operators are getting through their RAN, and so being able to really optimize even the radio and the DU at this aspect. Power management will be a third one. How can you reduce the power by having some AI techniques on when can you shut down some radio side or the full radio or waking up the radio fast enough so you can save power. So that will be the main use cases that we are seeing for the time being. More to come. That will be around more user mobility and user experience. But for the time being, the ones that we are seeing operators and vendors talking about are more the management, power efficiency, and power saving.
Mohammed,
sorry.
From Rakuten Symphony's perspective, AI use cases for OpenRan.
So, I mean, from the OpenRan perspective, we categorize the use cases into a low latency type of application and high latency type of application. Where the low latency of application like a massive MIMO optimization where you improve actual network performance, user experience, while the high latency type of application where you will be able to optimize your power consumption, you will be able to add as well some enhancement in the customer insight, and you will be able to enhance the solution overview in terms of dynamic optimization of based on your traffic pattern and anomaly detections as well.
Muslim, certainly some robust data sets required to make AI OpenRan a reality. Again, maybe give us a bit of into the looking glass of what type of data sets we're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. So data sets, you need to really have insights about patterns of mobility. So how are users moving? How are the requirements changing? So you could be moving in a vehicle at a different speed than if you're a pedestrian. You have applications that have different requirements. So we heard the word MIMO or let's say IoT, you have multimedia applications. So patterns are critical to know the demand of resources and to know how is the demand changing as a curve and the collective overall dynamics of this. This is very complex. AI can help to structure that a bit, and then OpenRan can respond to this need. You also need to have a performance, let's say, overview of metrics in real time. So network latency, jitter, scale, let's say, scaling in terms of speed, also, bandwidth stability, error rates. So performance metrics are also key because they enable you to really know how can you respond to the demands of the applications. But mobility patterns are the key thing. And also, on top of that is the prediction. So we also heard this term, I think, before. how can you really know or anticipate the demand that's coming there? So OpenRan can tune itself using RICs or other mechanisms in order to really respond to the needs. So there's anticipation, prediction, analytics, which has a predictive character. It could be for maintenance, but also for, let's say, matching optimally the mobility pattern that you have. And then this way you can really be up to it. Yeah.
And I think adding to this as well, the events, the alarms, the logs, that you can correlate it with this type of data set and matrices, so you can build an end-to-end view about your network and how you be predictive and proactive in terms of maintenance and in terms of optimization as well.
Gilles.
The good news is all those parameters and information has been standardized, meaning that the ORAN Alliance has standardized all the pipes, the O2 interface, for example, the E2 interface, to be able to get all those data available to the operators and so that they can act on it. Because it's one thing to have it, but the other thing is how do you act on it?
Yes, plus the APIs. There are interfaces, APIs for multi-vendor compatibility and more. Yeah.
I figure you want to comment on the OpenRan Alliance.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the ORAN Alliance, as we said, that okay, of course, for the service assurance part or for the type of FMPM, it's standardized already over the O1 interface, as we have stated, and as well adding to this, the LLL models as well will be able to ease the integration and ease the standardization as well. So this will add to the ORAN Alliance as well.
Gilles, certainly a lot of challenges when you're deploying AI software for OpenRan. What are some of those maybe top-line challenges?
So imagine that you have a RAN networks running, meaning you have a base stations, CUDU, and you have the RU. And the question is, how do you update or upgrade your RAN systems to introduce AI? So we are seeing these coming with the 5G Advance or the 5G Advance Plus, where people will refresh their software and their DU to be able to introduce some new AI techniques into the baseband. For the radio, I think that this will probably help to have some new ULPI, which is the uplink performance improvement, will be probably driven by AI into the radio. But radios with AI will probably still a year or two away, because you will need to then to replace the radio and to add new features into it. A few vendors has the AI capabilities, but they probably not have yet implemented or used this AI capability into the radio.
Muslim challenges for AI software in OpenRan?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, if you have not enough, the AI is data hungry, the more data you have, the more quality of prediction, of performance, accuracy you have. So we have sometimes the lack of interoperability of data sets, so it's hard to combine them in a consistent way. Or you have just the lack of, let's say, quantity of sufficient data to have a good sampling, so this is one challenge. Other challenges are, for example, security. For example, to trust different vendors' data sets, to combine them into one, you need to have a set relationship there, and there is still some reluctancy in the interoperability landscape. So that's another challenge, which is security. And then there is, of course, the robust way of processing complex data sets. So we have standards, as Gilles said, even in the data sets in general, like Gaia-X or IDSA data spaces, but still very few players that, let's say, abide by those. And that's why it's hard to really put pieces together to have a sufficient set. Another thing is that AI is not only data hungry, but also resource hungry. So if you optimize using AI certain constellations, it costs you a lot of battery life, power, etc. It could be at the edge a critical resource. And that's why you have to find a trade-off between what you optimize with AI and how much you get out of it. And there's also a challenge to know where is this, let's say, threshold or middle ground. Yeah.
Mohammed, certainly, and Muslim just touched on it a little bit, but certainly some challenges when deploying AI OpenRan in, let's say, remote areas.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, as it pointed out, when it comes to the edge now, you are looking for low latency type of AI use cases, which is you are looking for an edge type of data center. So there is some constraints in terms of the space, in terms of power consumption capabilities. As you know, that AI GPU use cases will require higher power consumption. So that's as well well one of the limitation when it comes to the AI at the edge here. Adding to this, of course, I mean to the investment for the AI on the edge for this, if it's in rural area or if it's in type of I would say not suburban area, it will not be justified the investment on this type of areas. So all of this coming together, I mean, when we are looking where we are going to be investing in the AI, we have to consider all of this, the power and the space and the exact use cases that we are capturing on this domain as well.
The good news is some of those challenges can be answered by the technology. So you mentioned GPU. Definitely GPU on the edge data center will be probably have a use cases.
Yeah.
But if we are talking about being on the cell tower or at the bottom of the cell tower, there is very little chance that you will be able to have GPUs.
This will be the AI for RAN. That's how, yeah.
And so then
Yeah.
you will not have GPUs, so you will be able to have either spatial hardware to make the AI capable that will be used into the DU or into the radio. And so I think it's important to look at the challenges around the technology as well, because you will need to have the real technology to answer those edge and rural area where power issue is a
power
constraint.
hunger, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so you will need to find the right hardware to be able to have low power AI capabilities.
It's mostly AI built into the underlay, the logic or control logic of the chips and of the network elements. So it's low-level AI, not like application AI, but it's really, it's in the hand of largely vendors to really put it there and make it robust, because the speed you need for that can be only done in hardware to really comply with the OpenRan requirements of real-time, low latency, etc.
Yeah. Muslim, is it too early to talk about lessons learned for AI-driven OpenRan deployments?
I would say no, because I've got a couple that I want to share.
Sure.
So first of all, some lessons learned is that if you go all in with AI as hardcore, it's really like a revolution. If you want a network, it would really fail. It won't scale. So that's why what would be good is to incrementally implement features there. So suppose you want to use AI, for example, to optimize your resource usage or to reduce it or increase efficiency. So you can go feature by feature and work in an incremental plan. If you go all in, it could really, let's say, cause a bang and not really fly. And another thing that I recommend is to be aligned on all dimensions. For example, if you don't have enough data, you have great hardware, there's nothing to feed it to really let it, let's say, train. Or so you have to have a balance between dimension of data availability. You have to also have very key vendors working together really in an honest and collaborative way, which is not yet up to the, let's say, right level, but already progressing. So many factors there, and I think when they all come together, then it's really gonna fly at the right speed.
And adding to this, I think that's all of this challenge. I mean, we need to focus on specific use cases and the real pain points now that we need to target, so that we can move in a baby walking manners, where we can, for example, the most potential use case is the energy consumption and the power saving type of AI use cases, the traffic pattern detection. So if we can, I mean, focus on initially on some of the really vital AI use cases that is really relative to the telecom industry, then we can start to build the AI use cases step by step.
Gilles, from AMD's perspective, lessons learned for AI OpenRan?
So, on the technology side, we believe it's too early because there is little real deployment on the RAN.
Yeah.
There is deployment on the orchestration, so definitely there are already a lot of NOC and orchestration layers using AI. But on the pure RAN and OpenRan, we believe it's too early. So technology is there, but as any technology, you need system vendors to implement it. You need operators and software vendors to also put their software on top of this technology. So I will say that we are seeing that probably a little early to get all the lessons learned.
Are you seeing regulatory considerations right now when integrating AI into OpenRan? Is that something you're thinking about?
I think that for me, the biggest challenge will be the sovereignty of the data. As we mentioned, to do AI, you need to have the data set. And so that means that operators will have to protect the data set within the region or within the country.
Sure.
To make sure that the sovereignty of the data will be safe. And so that will mean that the AI will also have to be local or localized to avoid those data going outside of countries. And it's Europe, but something in the US, something in Latin America. We have all data protection, implementation, regulation. And so that will probably what will have to be carefully looked by AI implementation.
Muslim, would you agree that there's a considerable time spent on regulatory concerns about AI and OpenRan?
I think that Europe spends too much time on over-regulating some of the things. And the US is really, let's say, and Asia forward driving. I think a balance would be good. And I think that before something is really established, AI has now already been a bit over-regulated from the European side, AI itself, not OpenRan. So I think OpenRan needs really to have some space, some use cases, as Mohammed said, where it really flies. And then we need to have sufficient data sets. And then we can see how do we regulate or we tame this whole scenario. But to regulate it before it even, let's say, is born out, I think is not the right strategy. So it should be really in a balanced way. And Europe is definitely on the over-regulated side from my perspective.
Mohammed, regulations?
Yeah, I mean, everyone is saying about the cross-border data sharing and the regulation about it and all of this stuff. So I think that I agree with them that, I mean, to speak about the security and the regulation before even, I mean, building the matured solution and the matured use cases, I think that's a bit challenging for the solution to be built out. And adding to this, I think maybe as you can see, most of the use cases that we are speaking about, it's an edge type of use cases, which will be, I mean, on-prem type of with the telco industry. So I don't think that there will be much requirement for a security in terms of cross-border at this stage, but maybe it will be in terms of customer data sharing point of view. That will be the challenge initially.
Well, AI and OpenRan is the title of this session. I don't think it's a title that's going away anytime soon. I'm sure we'll be talking about some iteration of that sometime this time next year probably, and at other events throughout the year. Mohammed, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Gilles, thanks for your time, and thanks for supporting this session, by the way.
Thank you.
And Muslim, as always.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah.
So does that mean that we are invited for next year already?
You are.
We'll take it.
Absolutely. Nice seeing you guys.
Nice to see you.
Thank you.